Welcome to the ZimmCast, a program dedicated to bringing you what's new in agricultural marketing. The ZimmCast is the official podcast of AgWired and hosted by Chuck and Cindy Zimmerman.
Hello and welcome to the ZimmCast. I'm Chuck Zimmerman. Part of December into January was just a little rough for the ZimmComm team, between some bugs going around to 2 short trips to see family, but now all's well and it's time for a new episode. In December, we had a post on AgWired on, the places we've been. Lots of details there. We started in the new year by curtailing our business travel after 20 years and nearly 900 events around the world. Interestingly, of all the states and countries we traveled to, the state with the most events has been Missouri at 112. Now here in January, we actually are able to continue doing photos and interviews and virtual newsrooms for several of our longtime clients. Now how do you say we do that? Well, we're retaining the services of others to do the on-site work while we do the posting and distribution at ZimmComm World Headquarters. We're really happy to announce that 2 of the first events in 2026 are being handled for us on-site by Laura McNamara. She was one of our first freelancers back in 2007 and 2008. She graduated from Mizzou and covered many events for us at that time. She's been around the world and has evolved into a very top-notch photographer. The first event of 2026 that Laura worked for us was the Beltwide cotton conferences, which were held in San Antonio. This young lady did interviews at a technical conference on cotton like she's been a farm broadcaster her whole life. Coming up next will be the Crop Insurance and Reinsurance Bureau annual meeting. This will be in Indian Wells, California in early February, and she'll be there. So in this ZimmCast, I'm going to share a couple of the interviews that Laura did. First is an interview with Marjorie Walker, National Cotton Council, on seizing opportunities for U.S. cotton.
I'm Laura McNamara at the 2026 Beltwide Cotton Conferences, and joining me is Marjorie Walker. First, would you like to introduce yourself for us?
Yes, I am Marjorie Walker, Vice President of Council Operations and Communications Lead at the National Cotton Council.
I know this year has been a bit of a rough year for cotton growers with pests and then also demand on the decline a little bit. So I hear you have some initiatives that are in the works.
Yes, the National Cotton Council is our mission is to increase profitability for all 7 segments of the industry. We've done a lot this year to work on long-term and short-term solutions to help build demand and try to return profitability back to the growers. One of the most innovative, I think, is the Buying America Cotton Act, or BACA. Your listeners might have heard of that. That act has been introduced in the Senate. It was introduced in the House today. We are currently looking for coalition letters for that, but the legislation rewards those who use U.S. cotton in their products. It's a location benefit, it's a tax incentive for location, and then for origin.
And you got to go to Washington and meet with some pretty important people.
I did. I got to go meet with the MAHA Commission. That was a very interesting meeting. They were interested in hearing, their goal is to put healthy food and fiber on the plates and the backs of all Americans. And so they brought every commodity in. They wanted to know what could we do, what could we offer that was innovative to them. And so I talked about a number of things. One of them was microfibers and microplastics and those from textiles, because we all know that what we're eating and drinking out of is causing a problem in our oceans and in our bodies. What we didn't know was that textiles from inhalation, the microfibers that they shed just from a simple hug, is very detrimental. It's being present in your brain, your lungs, your heart. So the MAHA Commission was so interested in that they ended up putting it in their commission report to dedicate research dollars to that, which I thought was outstanding.
Yeah, so that sounds pretty hopeful as far as creating a shift for the U.S. cotton demand. What are your thoughts about that?
We hope that the message, we just launched an awareness campaign for consumers trying to bridge the gap. So it's not just what you eat or drink, it's also what you're wearing. And we're trying to present cotton as a solution to the microplastics problem. So the simple thing is check your label. Buy mostly cotton, if not all cotton products. Cotton does have microfibers, but when they shed, they actually disintegrate in the environment. They disintegrate quicker than oak leaves do. There's research to show that. So plantnotplastic.org is the website growers can go to. You can see a fact sheet. We offer a lot of practical solutions to overcoming microplastics through cotton textiles.
Okay, and as consumers seem to have made the shift to the more synthetic textiles, having them come back, some of the things that they might bring up is, oh, it's easier to throw my synthetic textiles in the wash, clothes in the wash. What is your response to that?
I would say that technology with cotton products has advanced to the point where there's no shrinkage. They are pre-washed in most cases. And, probably the number one complaint we hear is ironing. It wrinkles, and then I look wrinkled. Well, invest in a steamer. You can get them off Amazon or one of the double-sided irons that are pretty portable. You might need to shake them out. If you dry them in the dryer, they're going to come out fine. But if you in a suitcase, I know they come out wrinkled. You do have to iron them. We don't have a solution for that, but they're going to breathe better. You're going to be more comfortable. Your sheets are going to be cooler. I think it's worth a little extra care to buy the cotton.
Yeah, and I was just going to touch on that. Aside from the health benefits that sometimes we know about but can't necessarily see, or they don't translate right away, sometimes that isn't as communicable to consumers. But what you just mentioned, the benefits right away, feeling cooler, not sweating as much in clothes.
And if you have allergies at all, you would definitely want to sleep in cotton sheets and wear cotton apparel. The research shows a number of allergies tied to the synthetic fibers, and because those are oil-based, petroleum-based, how they're processed, it can create a lot of allergies for people.
Wow. Yeah, that's another one I wasn't even aware of myself. Any other key takeaways you'd like to add?
No, I would say, other than please go to plantnotplastic.org and check. We have another part of that campaign rolling out this quarter. It's going to be, we focused on checking your labels. Now we're focusing on your wardrobe and your wellness. Just take a look at it, educate yourself, and go buy cotton.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm Laura McNamara in San Antonio, Texas.
Following up is an interview with Hank Jones, a Louisiana conference coordinator, with a consultants conference recap of the presentations.
I'm Laura McNamara here at the 2026 Beltwide Cotton Conference, and we just wrapped up the consultants conference, and there was all kinds of wonderful speakers. And I have with me right now is Hank Jones. Do you mind introducing yourself?
My name's Hank Jones. I'm an independent ag consultant from Winsboro, Louisiana, and that's located in the northeastern part of Louisiana, and I serve as chairman of the Consultants Conference.
And it was quite a successful conference. A lot of people showed up, and there was a lot of great speakers, kind of starting off with the talking about pests, and specifically JACID. It's one of the newer pests, went on to policy, getting updates from USDA, and even talking about some policy makers that are getting new acts going through, trying to get bipartisan support with plants, not plastic. And then finally, a very entertaining finale with Eric Snodgrass giving us updates on the weather.
That's right. We covered a lot of ground today. We started off with cotton JACID. It's a new pest, a new invasive species to the United States. We asked Dr. Philip Roberts from the University of Georgia to lead a team effort along with some county agents from Georgia and Dr. Scott Graham from the University of Auburn to give us an overview of what they experienced in 2025 and learning about that pest and managing that pest. And so hopefully we're all better prepared should we see it in other states. After that, Dr. Tripp Walker from Syngenta gave an excellent overview of their new insecticide, Vertento, that is going to be a great tarnished plant bug product. Stink bug and spider mite product is a new mode of action, so everybody's excited about that. Following that, we had Dr. David Kearns from Texas A&M University. We get David to come about every other year to give us an update on his work dealing with bollworm resistance to the cryoproteins plus the VIP3A, just to keep us updated on that in case there's any issues. One very exciting thing that we were able to do this year was invite a grad student from the University of Tennessee, Ms. Gabriella Marcotti, to present on her research that is funded by the Cotton Foundation, which is an entity of the National Cotton Council, about the aborted terminal phenomenon that we're seeing in various regions of the cotton belt. She did a fine job. We were very excited to have her. After the break, we shifted more into some of the regulatory and the policy issues. Dr. Clayton Myers came from Washington, D.C. He works for USDA in the Office of Pesticide Management Programs. And he gave us a regulatory update, mainly regarding how the Endangered Species Act influences pesticide registration at the EPA. And he also gave us an update about where some of the pesticides are in the re-registration lineup at the EPA. Then Ms. Marjorie Walker stood in for Dr. Gary Adams, and she gave us a very good update on some of the bridge payments and some of the government money that's going to be hitting the cotton farmers here soon. And she also went into the Buy American Cotton Act that Senator Hyde Smith of Mississippi sponsored, and went over that act and what it will mean for the cotton industry, hoping to build a little bit more demand and hoping to build some better use profiles for American cotton. And also she talked about one of the initiatives from the Cotton Council, the Plant's Not Plastic, where we're trying to get awareness built in wearing plastic-based materials, polyesters and whatnot, that there are some unhealthy themes that go on, or that we recognize about that are eliminated whenever you wear cotton. So she did a fine job with that. And then we wrapped up with the highlight, I think. It's odd having the keynote speaker be last, I think, at such a late hour. But Mr. Eric Snodgrass from Nutrien, he's a meteorologist, and he did an excellent job wrapping up the day. Really talking a lot about El Nino, the shift that we're about to see back into El Nino. And it really did a great job explaining some of the weather patterns that we've been in, and just really was a great send-off for the day.
And how do you think the turnout was?
Turnout was very good. I think in all, I didn't get a head count on the consultants, but we had a very good turnout from around the belt. I know there's people here from Georgia, consultants from Georgia, Kansas, Missouri. I'm from Louisiana, of course, Texas. And I'm sure there's faces that I didn't recognize. They're from other states probably too. But generally, you know, with the other crowds, we had a room full, and the big hall, so that was good to see.
And I know the future for cotton growers can seem a little iffy right now. What do you hope? What's your biggest message you want to send to cotton growers right now as they're managing pests and tariffs and policy changes?
Well, do the best job you can to know what's going on your farm in terms of being efficient. Most of the times what I see is my farmers that are the most efficient on their farm end up being able to weather the storms and being able to identify the things on your farm that keep you from being efficient. Also, right now, it is very advisable to do whatever you can to make the yield, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you in business because of the low prices. And so hopefully the National Cotton Council and policymakers can create some avenues by which cotton can be traded a little bit better on a worldwide scale, and that will create demand that will bring the prices up. But as of right now, we're kind of just in a holding pattern, hoping that cotton acres remain stable, and if they can do that, we'll weather the storm. Great.
Any final remarks?
I think everything's good. I'm looking forward to the rest of the Beltwide with the other conferences starting. This is always a great meeting. I've been coming since 99, I think, 98 or 99, I can't remember. But a lot of changes at this meeting since then. But in terms of a academic cotton meeting, nothing can beat it. It's a great show.
Yeah, and in the face of the different challenges, I think the best thing one can do is come and get educated on all the different facets to know how to tackle them. So thank you very much for your time today. I'm Laura McNamara reporting from San Antonio, Texas.
So what do you think? That's the ZimmCast for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.
You've been listening to the ZimmCast, the official podcast of AgWired. Check us out at www.agwired.com to find out what's new in agricultural marketing.